coming up tonight on Primetime Local News. An all-candidates forum is held in Lloydminster for the upcoming election. And more details on new streetlights coming near the Cenovus Energy Hub.
Coming up in What's Happening, where you and your family can decorate Easter eggs this weekend. Some great live music coming to the city, plus more details on family fun at the Esso Cup.
Prime Time Local News, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Hello and welcome to Primetime Local News. I'm Callan Dunlop. Thanks for joining us. RCMP are investigating a hit-and-run in Lloydminster. Police say it happened Tuesday morning in the area of Highway 17 north of 52nd Street just after 4 a.m. Police received a call of an injured man in that area, and preliminary investigation showed signs of a possible hit-and-run. The victim remains in hospital in critical but stable condition. The vehicle involved was located by RCMP on Wednesday. It had been stolen prior to the incident. Anyone with information or camera footage is asked to contact local RCMP or Crime Stoppers. The Lloydminster Chamber of Commerce held an all-candidates forum for everyone running for a seat in Parliament to represent the Battlefords, Lloydminster, Meadow Lake constituency. Our Lane Hoffert spoke with each present candidate.
3 candidates attended the All-Candidates Forum at the Lloyd X for the Battlefords Lloydminster Meadow Lake constituency. The NDP candidate is William Petrick. Petrick is a retired accountant of over 30 years who has lived in Alberta, Ontario, and now Saskatchewan.
I'm with a party that believes in the working people, working class people, and not giving benefits to billionaires. Right now, the elephant in the room is Donald Trump. He's not here, but he's here, and we need people that can survive the next 4 years. We're trying to take barriers away in employment insurance, build more infrastructure, including affordable homes.
The Liberal Party candidate is Larry Ingram. Ingram is a retired farmer and sheet metal worker, as well as a lifelong resident of Turtleford, Saskatchewan.
I think that I'm a valuable candidate these days because, first off, we've got a really good leader, Mark Carney, and I follow through with the Liberal viewpoints, and I think that I'm a very approachable person, and I would like to be able to address the First Nations issues as well, because they're our partners, and we need to be able to be partnering all of us together.
Daryl Patton is the candidate running with the newly formed Canadian Future Party. Patton has lived and worked in Lloydminster his whole life.
I think a vote for me by the voter is to show the other parties that there are a lot of people out there that don't have a political home. I would expect some people to want a hard center and expect a hard center. So that's what our party is all about. And I think that's a good starting point for us to prove to people that there is another option.
Also running in the Battlefords Lloydminster Meadow Lake constituency and not present for the forum was incumbent Rosemary Falk of the Conservative Party. Lane Hoffert, Primetime Local News.
The Chamber of Commerce also held a forum for everyone running in the Lakeland constituency. Our Lane Hoffert found out what each candidate will do if elected.
3 candidates were present for the All-Candidates Forum at the Lloyd X for the Lakeland constituency. Running for the Christian Heritage Party is Michael Spears. Spears was born in Scotland and has lived in Alberta for 12 years with his wife and kids.
I would be an unmuzzled pro-life, pro-family and pro-freedom voice there. Within the Christian Heritage Party, I would have freedom to act and vote in regards to my conscience. Beyond those 3 that I very much agree on with the party, that life is very important, family is very important, and freedom is very important. And all of those have been infringed upon, at least to some extent, with the current government.
Des Bissonnette is the NDP candidate. Bissonnette has worked in various jobs in the Lloydminster area and was also a candidate in the previous federal election.
This is actually just a giant job interview, and so I'm asking 100,000 people to hire me for this job. And I have a long working track record. For people who live in Lloydminster, they might recognize me from a variety of places. I've cleaned hotels, I've sold cannabis, I've sold guns, I've done David's Tea as well. I was the assistant manager there for a number of years, so I've worked in the mall and I've been kind of in those environments. So I really understand what it's like to be just a regular working person, and I've had such great community connections. I've been able to go to all the different places in Lakeland and see the uniqueness of those communities.
Michael Manchin is Lakeland's PPC candidate. Manchin has worked in the region as a tradesman in various oil patch positions and became an entrepreneur later on.
All of the wealth that we generate as a country comes from resources. It doesn't matter if it's grain or coal or copper or oil or gas. That's where money is generated. So we need to develop all of our natural resources, not just our oil and gas, all of it. Develop our natural resources, create wealth for everybody that gives high-paying jobs. We eliminate the debt immediately, and we use the royalties to pay for the best social programs on planet Earth.
Also running in the Lakeland constituency and not present for the forum was incumbent Shannon Stubbs of the Conservative Party, as well as Barry Mullaney of the Liberal Party and Bridget Burns of the Green Party. Lane Hoffert, Primetime Local News.
In order to accommodate an expected increase in traffic, Lloyd Council has approved new streetlights near the city's newest arena. 40th Ave will soon have 2 additional streetlights, one at 41st Street and one at 36th. With lights on either side of the Cenovus Energy Hub, Council hopes this will improve access to the area.
We could have approached this 2 different ways. People have asked about why the Cenovus Energy Hub costs this much money. This is a perfect example of the infrastructure to support the facility that we chose as council and administration to bring it under one project cost. Otherwise, we could have put this into road improvements and said there'll be no other road improvements this year from that perspective. But being that this road improvement is required for the project and for the facility, that's why it's all tied together.
The lights were not included in the city's street improvement program, rather being grouped in with the Cenovus Energy Hub costs.
40th won't be completely closed. There will be portions that there will be restrictions and access will be challenged, but as best as they can, they'll work as diligently. It's in the interest of the contractor. They don't like to lag and drag out work. They have multiple jobs that they're going to be working on, and to get that job done as soon, as effective as they can, and as efficiently, while still performing the requirements of good work and good quality work.
Construction for the new lights is anticipated to begin shortly. There are lots of events planned over the long weekend in Lloydminster, including an Easter egg hunt and the kickoff to the Esso Cup. Heather Klages has more in this week's edition of What's Happening.
This Easter weekend, there's plenty of fun for you and your family. Coming up on Saturday, head to the Lloydminster Museum and Archives for Easter egg decorating. For the younger people in your family, they'll be dip dyeing the eggs. For the older people in your family, it'll be an opportunity to try the ancient art of Pysanky. For all the details, and if you'd like to pre-book your spot, you can go online to lloydminster.ca. Coming up tomorrow on the City of Lloydminster's website, that's when they're going to reveal the clues for the annual Easter egg hunt, where you'll be looking for Easter egg stickers right across the city for a chance to win some cool prizes. A lot of Easter fun coming up this weekend. Make sure you check out the city's website for more details, lloydminster.ca. You've got a chance to check out some great live music coming up on Saturday night at Cheers Live. 3-time Country Music Alberta Award nominee Julia Voss is going to be performing. She is a past winner of the Nashville North Star winner at the Calgary Stampede. She's opened up for Gord Bamford, Paul Brandt, and more, and she just released a new single, Somebody. Some great live music at Cheers Live coming up this Saturday night. Tickets online for $20 or $25 at the door. And you've got an opportunity to cheer on some talented hockey players. The Esso Cup starts on Sunday right here in Lloydminster. The PWM Steelers are taking part, and there's female athletes from all across the country that are going to be in Lloydminster to play for the Esso Cup at the Civic Centre. For all the details on the games, head to hockeycanada.ca. There's also going to be a family fun zone tent that'll be set up in the parking lot at the Civic Centre. There's going to be games, a photo booth, and so much more. So hopefully you can check out the games and the fun at the Esso Cup. coming up next week. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, we hope you stay safe and stay healthy.
What's Happening is brought to you by Northern Factory Workwear, Circle Drive East, Saskatoon, and Highway 17 South, Lloydminster.
Lloydminster hasn't been experiencing the best temperatures as we've gone on this week. It's gotten progressively gloomier.
That's right. It's been kind of a bit of a roller coaster, I guess you could say. It started out, the week started really nice. It was some, beautiful days with the sun, and, it was getting into those teens. But yeah, like you've said, it's gotten a bit gloomier, especially today and yesterday. Fortunately, though, the temperatures themselves are looking like they are going to be increasing over the weekend, and we might see some rain, which I know those farmers will like. But yeah, for right now, it's just +2 in Lloydminster. That wind has died down. It's not as strong as it was yesterday. It was up to nearly 40 kilometers an hour yesterday, and it's just sitting at 20 today. But it is, you can still feel that wind out there, and it's making the temperature a bit cooler, making it feel more like -3. And you can see everywhere's kind of having a gloomier day. I guess Edmonton's doing a little better than the rest of us, +10 out there, and in Vegreville it's +8. But in Lac La Biche, +3, Cold Lake +1, Bonnyville +4, St. Paul, Vermilion, and Provost +5, Wainwright +6, and Marwayne +3. Over in Saskatchewan, -2 in Isle La Crosse, +2 in Pierceland, St. Walburg +1, Green Lake and Meadow Lake both at 0, Maidstone +3, Macklin +5, and North Battleford is at +3. Tonight, North Battleford is going to drop down to -8, partly cloudy and cold night with that wind. Not as strong as we have seen. It's just going to be blowing at 11 kilometers an hour compared to those teens and nearly 20 that we have seen over the week. Tomorrow in North Battleford, it's going to get up to +10, so it does look like we may have reached the light at the end of the tunnel, at least in North Battleford. +10 and partly sunny, and that wind isn't going to pick up a whole lot. It's just going to pick up by a few kilometers an hour to 13. Now tonight in Cold Lake, it's going to get down to -8, partly cloudy and cold night, so very similar night to North Battleford, almost exactly the same, with just a few clouds, those winds at around the same speed, and those temperatures hovering around the same. Tomorrow in Cold Lake, it is going to get up to +12, a milder day with some clouds and sun, and that wind is going to get up to about 20 kilometers an hour. Now tonight in Lloydminster, once again, a very similar night, though we will have more clouds than they will have in North Battleford and Cold Lake, but those clouds will look to be clearing as we get through the night. And you can see tomorrow at 6 a.m. it'll be cloudy, -7, and then it's going to get up to +5 at noon and a mostly sunny day. It's going to get even nicer at 6 p.m. It's going to be +11, and then at midnight those clouds are going to come in a little bit, but it's not going to go below 0. It's just going to stay at +3, so it does look like we have reached the light at the end of the tunnel. That is good, especially considering that this is Easter weekend. Tomorrow we'll have a high of 11 and a low of 0. Mostly sunny day and milder. Then Saturday we will get some rain, 58% chance with that high once again at +11. And then it's going to be a sunny day on Easter Sunday with that high at +12, and it's not going to get below 0. That's our first look at your evening weather. We'll have more news after the break.
Canadian author Doug Lawrence has a new book out about the journey of grief and how to navigate it. Abby St. John has more with the author.
I'm very happy to be joined here today by Canadian author and mentoring expert Doug Lawrence to talk about his new book. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Well, thank you for the opportunity.
Of course. Now, I'm excited to talk to you about who you are in your new book. And before we get into your latest book, can you give a little bit of a background about yourself and your other works that you've done in the past?
I'm a retired Royal Canadian Mounted Police officer. I served for 25 years in the police force, bounced kind of all over the place. And as a result of dealing with trauma and stuff like that, I ended up with post-traumatic stress. And I was able to manage that with some coping skills and got that to a place where it was fairly calm. I'll use that terminology. Then I was dealt another curve in my life with, in 2021, my dear sweet wife was lost her battle with cancer and passed away. And so I was then plummeted into dealing with grief and what that meant. And of course, me being the mentor that I am, I was focusing on helping others and not looking after myself as much as what I could be. So I've been involved in, like I said, helping others with their grief journey, helping them get to where where they feel the most comfortable.
Very sorry for your loss, for your wife and for you, but it's amazing that you're able to translate your journey and your grief into words for to help other people who may not know what resources to go to or how or where even to start with their grief or their trauma or whatever they're going through. Now, your newest book, it dives deep into grief. It is called Grief, the Silent Pandemic. And grief looks very, very different for anybody. But there are a lot of similar ways to manage it or deal with it. And so tell me about your book, this newest book, and give us a little bit of insight into what people can learn from it.
The Grief, the Silent Pandemic was it's basically a tribute to my wife Deborah and all that she went through. And we were dealing with COVID around the same time, so that complicated the whole thing. No visitation. We made FaceTime. We made a lot of good use of FaceTime to be able to, even for the kids to be able to, have some time, quality time with their mom, because it was difficult for them to have to navigate through what does this all mean? Is this, is what's going to happen to mom and all that stuff? And is she being taken care of and all that sort of thing? So, what Grief, the Silent Pandemic is going to do for us, whether I'm a reader or whether I'm somebody going through that, is it's going to help you navigate that journey. It's going to suggest some coping mechanisms that you can use. It's going to help you dispel any myths that you may have about grief and what does it mean and all those sorts of things.
Sharing your story is going to help a lot of people, especially, because they can, a lot of loss happened during the pandemic. And like you said, restrictions were in place. You couldn't visit your loved ones while they were in a hospital, so they were alone. So it was a very uncertain time. And so having your story, I think, is very important. People can relate to it, and they know that they're not alone in their grief and how they're feeling. So I think that's amazing. Now, where can people find your work? Not just Grief, the Silent Pandemic, but your other work as well. Where is it on sale, and how can people find more information on you as well?
It's interesting because you made a comment, and right away my mind flashed to my second book, which the title is "You Are Not Alone." So yeah, very timely. So for the three books that I do have, or soon to be three books that I do have out there, all three are available on Amazon.com and Amazon.ca. And, the other part of that is, you pick up a copy of, say, Grief, the Silent Pandemic, and all these questions come flowing through your mind and stuff like that. Feel free to reach out to me at any time that you want. And, you can reach me through LinkedIn, through my website at www.talentc.ca, or you can send me an email message straight, direct to me at doug.lawrence@talentc. So the word talent with the letter C on the end.ca, and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can, because I know that what most people are longing for is to have somebody that they can talk to. And that's important, is let's not keep everything bottled up inside. Let's, kind of open the doors.
Well, it was awesome getting to know you and learning more about your work. I know that this will definitely help a lot of people relate to it. And again, like you said, not feel alone. And so it's awesome. So thank you so much for joining me and sharing your work with us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Coming up after the break, our Lane Hoffert will have another look at our evening weather forecast.
Welcome back. Let's take a second look at your evening weather. Right now in Lloydminster, it's +2 with that wind blowing at 20 kilometers an hour, so a far cry from the nearly 40 we had yesterday, but still quite fast. It is feeling like -3 out there, but fortunately those clouds have died down a little bit. They're still, of course, quite prominent, but they've gone. You can see the sun a little bit now where you couldn't a few, 10 or 20 minutes ago. But looking at the current temperatures, you can see out west it's a little bit warmer than it is here in Lloyd. It's +11 out in Jasper, 10 in Whitecourt and Edmonton, 9 in Athabasca, Edson and Red Deer, and 7 in Rocky Mountain House. But once you get over here in Cold Lake, it's +1. Over in Saskatchewan, in Meadow Lake, in Prince Albert, it's 0. Melfort and Saskatoon +2, and North Battleford +3. Moving up north, even cooler in Uranium City at -2. Stony Rapids, La Loche, and Buffalo Narrows all at -4. Williston Lake and Flin Flon at -6, and South End Reindeer at -7. -5 in Fort Chipewyan, and then +7 in High Level, +1 in Fort McMurray, +7 in Slave Lake, +11 in Peace River, and +12 in Grand Prairie. Now moving down south in Coronation and Medicine Hat, it's +8, Calgary +6, Lethbridge +7, and Banff +5. Over in southern Saskatchewan, it's +4 in Yorkton in Regina, Moose Jaw and Swift Current +5, Kindersley +3, and Estevan +7. So very similar temperatures all across the board, just a little bit warmer west and a little bit cooler north. Now tonight's forecast in North Battleford, it's going to get down to -8, partly cloudy and cold, and that wind is going to be not as strong as out here in Lloyd. It's only going to be blowing at 11 kilometers an hour compared to the 20 that we are seeing here. Tonight in Cold Lake, -8 once again. Very similar, partly cloudy and cold, and that wind at about the same at 11 kilometers an hour too. So very similar night across the board. Lloyd is where things do shake up a little bit. It's going to be a little cloudier. Those clouds are going to be more prominent, but that wind is going to die down to 11 kilometers an hour, and it's going to be -7. Now, taking a look at our overnight travel forecast, you can see some very similar skies and temperatures across the board. -8 in Meadow Lake and Paradise Hill, -7 in Bonnyville, and -6 in Provost and Isle Lacrosse, all partly cloudy and colder nights. Now, -6 in Murnum, -8 in Pierceland and Unity, -7 in Wainwright, and -4 in Calgary. Once again, some very similar skies. Now, taking a look at our 7-day forecast, you can see today is the coldest of the bunch, so we do have some nice days ahead, although we will be getting some patches of rain. I'm sure a lot of those farmers will like that. 58% chance on Saturday, 65% on Monday, 55 Tuesday, and 72 on Wednesday. So it is looking like, we're going to get a lot of moisture, which is much needed. I don't think anybody's going to complain about getting rain. Maybe those roads will be a little muddy, but that's about it.
And no complaints from me. Just great weather to enter a long weekend with.
That's right. It's looking to be a good Easter weekend with some nice weather to go with it.
Exactly. That is all the time we have today for Primetime Local News. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great night.